Okay, recording is going. And start stream. Oh. Just noticed my camera is a little... Hold on. Let's try this. There we go. Okay. I was a little behind there. Oh, now my face cam is broken. Okay, I think I know what I did. Let's just turn it off for a second and turn it back on. Okay. First stream of the year wouldn't be my stream if I didn't have technical difficulties. Okay, so I'm gonna do another one of these little figurines. I knocked this one over while he was on the table and he landed face down and his arm broke off, so oops. Yeah, so I'm gonna reattach the arm first of all, but I'm also gonna smooth out all the stuff. I'm gonna put a couple of little armatures in the back for wings. Oh, I need to sand the little ridges on the feet too. Reach behind my camera. Oh, damn it. Yeah, I need to get a new webcam. There we go. I knocked the cord, and every time I touch the cord while I'm streaming, it breaks the camera. So, let me just... I do have the sanding stick that came with the kit. It's just in a container off camera. I kind of wasn't really prepared. This was sort of a last minute decision to do this today. I had planned on doing a different doll today, but I could not do my prep because I can't spray outside. I'm not comfortable spraying MSC in my house, and I can't currently spray outside because well, I don't know if you're going to be able to see. It's raining outside. So no spraying is going to be happening today. So that kind of ruined my plans. I was actually planning on streaming yesterday, but we had 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and of course that means my internet connection was less than reliable all day. So all of my plans just kind of had to get changed. Sort of the same thing that seems to happen every week around my Crafternoon streams, which is kind of the reason why I haven't done any this year yet, because with recovering from COVID, I just wasn't feeling very well, and I wasn't feeling up to dealing with that level of frustration until, the past couple of weeks. And this week is the first week that I even managed to get anything together in time. So part of this is just, I still don't have like my own space to do things. So I can't just like set up something and just leave it set up until I have a good streaming day. Because all of the work that I do, all of my artsy hobby work is done on my kitchen table. All of it. So, like, if I want to do sewing, which I don't really like streaming because sewing is kind of hard to get a good camera angle with my current setup. Yeah, so if I want to sew, I have to move everything else off of the table. If I want to do something messy like painting or sculpting, I have to move everything that can't get paint or clay off of the table. And it becomes like a whole process just to even be able to set up to stream. So obviously we still haven't moved. The market is absolutely insane still. Like, there's been almost no houses being listed. The prices for the houses keep going up to the point where we're basically getting priced out of the kind of house that we need. So I don't know if we're just going to have to stop looking and wait for the inevitable housing market crash, but if we do that, then we're going to have trouble selling our current house. So I don't know. My mom is starting to talk about maybe getting contractors out to look at the house again and see what we can do. I really hope it doesn't come to that, because I really need my own space. You know, I pay half the bills for the house, and I don't really have my own space. I have the tiniest bedroom in the house, so it's barely enough room for my rabbit and myself to even just sleep in, let alone actually live or do anything in. And then we have basically 2 guest rooms, which are unusable, except as guest rooms. And it's really frustrating. You know, I'm paying half the bills for a house that I can't use half of. I was really excited to have my own space. If this doesn't happen, I don't know. I don't want to be stuck in this house forever. And pretty much if we don't move, I am going to be, because I can't afford to live on my own, even if it was safe for me to live alone, which it's not. But, like, who else am I going to live with, you know? Anyway, housing frustration it's depressing. I don't want to talk about that. We're going to focus on making my cute little Mothman. Just trying to get all these ridges smoothed out. This one is the one that's kind of difficult to get to in this little thumb area, because you have to be really delicate. I don't want to break the other arm off. Oh, I hate the, ooh, it's doing an awful squeaky thing. I don't know if that's being picked up by the microphone. Okay, so I think that's about smooth. I'll get this a little bit smoother before I start filling it in. Oh, you know what? I really need to set up my ring light, because this is just going to keep blowing out the white, because my camera sucks. So this is actually the little doll I was hoping to work on. It's just a little rubber-headed doll with a really cheap, basic plastic body. But it's a small little doll, and I thought it would be kind of a fun travel doll, because I can put her in a pocket in my purse. So I need to make little eyes, and then I need to do her face, but I couldn't spray her with the MSC again because it's raining outside. Awesome Cleveland weather. All right, let me make some room here. Obviously my table is not perfectly cleaned off today. I cleared literally just enough space to do a stream for an hour or two, and that's it. So let me try and get this lit up a little better. too much. Hey, Julie. Let's try maybe turning it more. Oh God, this even my ring light is like a cheap piece of junk. It just the tripod under it. I can't adjust the light as it's on the tripod or the tripod collapses. All right, whatever. We're just gonna have to deal with that. But yeah, so this is the doll I wanted to do, but obviously it's a shiny plastic body. So if I'm gonna do any blushing, like I have to somehow sand. I want to try and sand down the ridges on the body because again, it's a cheap plastic and rubber body, so it's got ridges down the sides and on the neck and shoulders. Actually, let me see if I can just pop the head off. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so I want to sand these down, and I want to spray with MSC so that I can do some body blushing, but obviously it's the weather's not cooperating for that. So, well, this is making my face look even paler than usual. I'm just trying to get my camera to not blow out the white figurine. It's another reason I really want my own space, though, is that I could make an actual lighting setup that would work properly in all lighting. Anyway, move that. So I think this guy's just about smooth. No, there's a little uneven patch there I want to get. I don't know what kind of doll it is, Julie. I got her on AliExpress for like $3. She just showed up in the recommended stuff one day, and I was like, "Oh, that's cute. I could put her in my purse and like take her on adventures." Um, it's just a little rubber head, and then the body is plastic, and the limbs are, I think, also vinyl. So yeah, these aren't plastic. This feels like vinyl or rubber maybe. Um, so I don't think she's like one of those BJD recasts because she's rubber, and I've never seen a recast done in rubber. So I figured it was a safe buy. You know, I'm always wary of buying dolls, especially cheap dolls on AliExpress, because I don't want to buy a recast by accident and then get like kicked out of a BJD group because I didn't know better. But like I've never heard of any that were cast in rubber, so I think she's not a recast. I think she's just like a cheap plastic doll. Um, but you know, it's a cute little face, and I figured she's pocket size, so I can take her around a little more readily than like a Blythe size doll. Um, you know, assuming the world ever gets back to normal and I can go to conventions and things again, she would be a good little travel doll. Um, okay, this doesn't seem to need a lot of sanding. But yeah, so I was either going to work on her or work on the icy doll that I got to make into the Edgar Allan Poe doll. Um, but I haven't been able to spray either of them with MSC to prep them for blushing because it's raining today, and yesterday we had like 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So the weather just has not been cooperative this week to get what I wanted to get done. So instead I'm working on another of the Nerdy Crafter figurines. Um, this little dude. And I'm gonna make a Mothman. Because I really want to do one with wings. So this one has little slots for wings. Um, so I'm going to go ahead, now that he's sanded, I'm going to use the liquid Sculpey and the Sculpey clay and kind of fill in all of these little holes, and reattach the arm. because I had him sitting on a table and he fell forward onto his arm and his arm snapped off. So I'm going to fix that. Oh, just like that. And then obviously fill in the other little hole because Mothman doesn't have a tail. And then I also want to try and cast some eyes. Yeah, this one. This size I decided is a good size for big red moth eyes on this head. I actually cast a couple as a test, and they didn't quite come out the way that I wanted, so I'm not going to use them. I'm going to cast new ones instead. But I cast them just to make sure like the size was right and that I could actually do the red paint as a colorant because I don't have alcohol dyes on hand. So, you know, you're going to get the nice big moth eyes. But neither of them came out quite right. This one it's a little hard to see on camera, but it came out more pink than red. And this one came out with a weird little defect where it didn't quite mix all the way to the bottom. So, I mean, it's interesting. I could still use it for something, but not for eyes. And then both of them, unfortunately, are still just a tiny little bit squishy in the back. So I don't know if that's because I didn't cure them or because the paint wasn't quite as mixed on the top layer. I think that may be it, that it didn't mix all the way through. And that's why it didn't, cure all the way through. And there they go, dropping everything. So those didn't work, but I do know now that the size is right. So I'm going to try again with that. Actually, I might do that first because then I can sculpt them onto the head as I'm working with the clay. So I just grabbed a little medicine cup to mix the resin before I put it in here because I think part of the problem was that I was trying to mix it already in the mold, and obviously that's not quite gonna work. I also got new molds in a bunch of different sizes just to kind of play around with. I was hoping one of them would be small enough to use to make eyes for this little girl, but I don't think that any of them are because this is the smallest one and it looks significantly bigger than her eye holes. So that might be a problem. So I'm going to throw just a little bit of this paint in here. This is actually paint that came with the Nerdy Crafter kit too. So I've never used this kind of paint, this brand before, but I mean, it worked pretty well for that second eye. It came out really nice and red. So I think that's probably maybe a little bit more. Just a little bit more. I'd rather have too much than not enough, you know? And then I need to put at least twice as much resin in there. Oh, I don't want to just pour it. I want to... There we go. Okay, hold on. Oh my gosh. These little containers. Ugh. I don't like how hard I have to squeeze to get this stuff out. I mean, I know it's probably generally considered a good thing because it makes less of a mess, but I just have a hard time with it. Alright, so I'm going to mix this up. Try and get it so that there's no streakiness showing. I also want to make sure that the consistency is right. Needs to be kind of like sticky-ish almost. like really thick, like the resin basically, and not like paint. So I may need to put just a little bit more resin in there. Yeah, I love Mothman too. I was actually I was talking to someone on OkCupid about cryptids and mentioned that I wanted to make a cryptid doll and couldn't decide who to make. And she suggested Mothman. And then as I was thinking about how I was going to make my Mothman doll, I was just looking at my other little figurine who was sitting here on the table and thinking about how I wanted to make one with wings for the second one. Um, and that's kind of how I decided to do Mothman. All right, so I think that consistency is a little more what I was looking for. So I'm gonna pour that in. I'm hoping I got enough for 2 eyeballs here. Oh, it's gonna be close if I do. I may need to mix more and try very hard to get them to be the same color. All right, I'm gonna put this over here for a second because I don't want to accidentally cure that too. And take my light. Uh-oh, why is my light not working? There we go. All right. Oh no, I see a bubble. That's okay, it's at the back. Hopefully there's none at the bottom. I just realized I didn't do anything to try and get the bubbles out before I put it in here. Oops. These also aren't super clear, this mold, unfortunately. So I usually have to cure the bottom side after I take it out of the mold for a few seconds. But mostly it's pretty good. I also got these on AliExpress. I've been buying a lot of things on AliExpress lately because I'm broke and it's cheap. And if I were to buy things on Amazon, they would pretty much cost the same anyway. So, okay, it's starting to pull away from the mold, but it doesn't look solid. So I'm a little worried that I may not have had enough resin in my mix. But like this little container is all you get with the Nerdy Crafter kit. It's really not a lot. Oh no, it's very, oh, oh no. Oh no. Well, yep, okay. Maybe I can work with this. There we go. Okay. I definitely think there was not enough resin in that mix. Um, I don't know if this is going to cure or not. That's a new one for me. It's trying. It's trying to cure. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know about this. I'm gonna set this one aside. Is it bouncy? No, okay. That's weird. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a bigger container of resin. remember which of these was the one that I didn't like because it had little black spots in it. No, you can't remelt it. Once it's cured, it's cured. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Let me just... Oh, you know what? That's probably... This mold probably has the right size eyes for this doll. I didn't even think about that. All right, I'm gonna try just putting... Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's that one. Oh, it's this one. Okay. It's also very stinky. Okay, so can you kind of see the difference there and why this one is one that I used pretty much exclusively for testing molds and things and not for actually making anything nice. I don't know what the black swirl is in there, but a lot of it comes out with that blackness in there. I'm just curing this so I can get it out of the mold. And also because this one is so stinky, I don't want it in liquid form, letting that stinkiness out. I should put a label on it. Yeah, so this is the good one. This one I got from Wish, and this is actually really good resin. I've had very good results with it. It's not super bubbly. It's really nice and clear. It doesn't get kind of a yellow tint to it. Honestly, the one that came with the Nerdy Crafter kit, this, is it Sophie and Toffee? I know that Nerdy Crafter Jackie loves Sophie and Toffee. I gotta say though, I'm really not a fan of the Sophie and Toffee resin. It's, compared to this cheapy one that I got from Wish, it's very yellow. It's noticeably more yellow if you put them side by side. Which if I'm mixing it with a dye, then I don't really care. But if I'm trying to make like eye chips for a Blythe doll, obviously you don't want something that's going to be yellow. So yeah, this is the stinky one I don't like. Because it does that. And this is the nice one. Like you can see there's not really bubbles in it, even though I really had to squeeze out of that bottle. Let me see if I can grab something white. Well, here, I'll just throw them on the back of this little dude. So you can see that's pretty clear. Do I have one of the Sophie and Toffee eyes that I made? I did make a couple of tester eyes with the Sophie and Toffee before I made my alien, so here. Yeah. So it's almost hard to see just looking at it when it's not, you know, against a background, but if you put them on a background, can you see how clear the little one is and then how much yellower the one next to it is? I don't know if it really picks up on camera, but this one was the Sophie and Toffee resin, which is the more expensive resin, and I feel like it's noticeably more yellow than the other one when it cures. So again, if you're putting dyes or tints into it, then obviously the yellowish hue is not a massive deal. But if you're trying to do something clear, it's just not a good option. I also got, just because that one is getting empty, I want to try this one too. Because I bought... the tips go? I got tips for it. I'm not sure where I put them. I also, when I noticed that one was starting to run out, I bought on Amazon, I had this brand on sale, this Picasso, which I've never used. So just because I'm doing some tests today, I'm gonna pull this out and throw a little bit into my mold and see what this is like. Because I got 2 bottles of this in the little box there. And if this is comparable to the one that I like, I would rather use this today just because it's more full. Obviously, I have 2 full bottles. So far, I'm not smelling the awful smell of the other cheapy one that I hated, so that's a good sign. All right. Throw this squirty cap on it. And I'm going to try this one in that same little, oops, there's a little piece of plastic from the lid on it. Okay, this is interesting. It's kind of hard to capture on camera the resin in a clear mold. It's kind of thick. The one that I liked from Wish was actually a little on the thin side, but it worked really well just for being nice and clear. I keep losing my stuff and I only have half a table that I'm working on. I didn't work to get the bubbles out of this little test blob or anything like that. I think my batteries in my light might be dying too because it looks like it's flashing a bit. Which is kind of making me unhappy because I'm worried that it's not curing things the way that it should be. Let me see if my batteries are maybe just loose. What kind of batteries do I have in here? That's 3 AAAs. Well, I may just not be able to do the resin part today if my batteries are dying. Let me just try like taking them out and switching them because sometimes that works. Oh. Oh, come on. As I was screwing it in, the light came on, and now it's... I think it may be a problem with the light. Okay. Alright, that's got to be cured by now. Let's pop that out. Alright, so it cures nice and hard. It's also a bit yellow, though. Well, that's okay, because I'm mixing with red. So, I'm gonna use that for these eyes. I think it'll work okay for this. I'm just gonna have to reorder that other brand to do the Blythe eyes with. Yeah, I don't know if you can see as I'm squeezing this out how thick it is. Ooh, it's like gloopy. It's really hard to squeeze. I almost feel like they need a wider tip on the bottle. Which, you know, I realize that they have the thin tips so that you can use them in small molds without making a mess. Um, I just wish they came with options. Because I basically only make eyeballs with resin, you know? I don't need precision to gloop a bunch of resin into an eyeball mold. Oh my god. I think the Nerdy Crafter kit also came with a mold for eyes. Um, but I like mine. I like my big mold with all of the shapes. Alright, this one I'm actually just going to take the squirty top off. And I wouldn't normally recommend doing this. Putting a big glob like that in there, but because I'm trying to make two large, very large eyes, I need a lot of the resin to come out of the bottle, and I'm going to be sitting here squeezing it all day. So let me just do another little gloop. I feel like that's got to be enough, right? Although, you know what? There wasn't enough resin in my mix before, so I'm going to put even more. Um, I'm not going to be stingy just because I'm not a big fan of this resin. I don't really care if I use up half of a bottle. Um, I would rate this one, honestly, so far in my one little test, I would say it's on the same level as the Sophie and Toffee. It's good and thick if you like thick resin, but it's also kind of yellow. Where did I put my red? My little red. Oh my god, why is my brain not working? Where's my paint? My paint. Oh no. Where did I put my paint down? Uh-oh. Because I need more paint. And now, oh, there we go. It's behind all of the resin. All right, so I'm going to put like, I don't know, maybe like 6 more drops of paint in here. Okay. Just gonna mix that up until I don't see any more streakies. All right. I think I think that's a good mix. I don't see any more streaks. Um, it's a nice solid red color. Just trying to gently lift the bottom bits out so I can make sure there's no giant bubbles hiding in there. Just because this is a nice thick resin, that's exactly where bubbles would be want to hide. Also, I feel like I should note, just because, you know, I'm not a resin expert, but if anybody is watching this trying to get tips on how to work with resin, one thing you definitely need to know is you cannot reuse your mixing containers, um, because the resin will slowly over time cure in the container, and you kind of have to let it do that. You shouldn't throw it out while it's liquid, and you definitely never ever ever want to pour resin down a drain. You need to just cure it and then throw it out. All right, so I think I have enough in here. What I want to try and do is get at least 3 finished eyeballs so I can pick 2 good ones. All right, let's hope this one doesn't cure hollow in the middle. I put a lot more resin than paint into this mix. It's so weird. I've never had that happen before with resin where, I mean, again, I'm very new to working with it, and there's definitely a knack to figuring out when your mix is a good mix or not. I'm not there where I can tell just by eyeballing it. All right. I do want to try and see. All right, when this one pulls away from the mold, it's not bending the way the other one did. So I think this is going to be a better mix. And if not, I'm just going to plop some more of that cheap resin in there until I get a mix that comes out cured. I'm a tiny bit annoyed though. I do want to say a tiny bit annoyed that the best resin I've found so far is the one from Wish, because Wish's shipping is so notoriously slow and unreliable. So, like, as soon as I finish this stream, I'm definitely going over to Wish and ordering another bottle. But, like, it might be a couple of months before it gets here. And I kind of want to do more things with my resin before then. Alright, I'm going to try cure the bottom really quick before I attempt to pop this one out. But I think this is going to go better. Because, for one thing, the mold from the bottom doesn't feel squishy when I try to pop it out. So, I think... Yeah. Oh, that felt better. That felt much better. Okay, so it's still... This one is still squishy. I wonder if I can just leave it squishy. I'm kind of curious, honestly. Like, what if I just put the eye into my sculpture and it's just squishy like this? Will it pop? I don't know. I'm gonna see what happens with the other one. I have pins. Give me pin. I want to see what the inside is like, because I've never had this happen before. I've also never tried to color resin with paint, so I don't know. That's probably my issue. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I am not a resin expert. So yeah, see, the inside in there is still liquid. Oh my god. It's like a little pimple. I'm gonna squeeze that in there and see what happens. Ah! Okay, so the answer is, if you poke it, it will absolutely explode. I'm gonna grab a paper towel. Interesting. Okay, so I think that answers the question of, can I put that on my sculpture if it's squishy? And the answer is no, I cannot. So I'm gonna see if I can do the same thing here. And actually, I'm not a pin. I'm going to get my X-Acto and slice it open. And then I can at least salvage the mix that's still inside of this little bubble. And I'm just going to keep throwing resin in here until I get something that comes out solid. Um, I don't know if I'm going to do it all on stream though, just because I don't know how exciting this is going to be to watch. I feel like Dr. Pimple Popper over here. So this is basically what I'm getting, is that the outside is curing and the inside is not. So now what I'm thinking, I wonder if I just did half of it with this stuff and it just did it in like really small layers, um, instead of doing it all at once. Like if I put just enough to cover the bottom and cure that, and then put just another little tiny bit and cure that, then maybe I can get it solid. Because I really do like the red color that I'm getting with this mix, you know? And since I can't really go to the craft stores and buy a bunch of different dyes to try and find one that gives me the color I want, when I already have the color I want, I just have to figure out how to make it work. Oh my god. This is really bad. You definitely should wear gloves when you're working with resin. I don't know why I didn't put any on, but like it's, I don't know how bad this is for my skin. We'll figure it out. All right, I'm gonna get just a little bit in here. My stir stick. And just gonna, oh, gonna, you see how I'm kind of just trying to coat the edges. And I'm going to cure what's in here. And then I'm going to put a tiny little bit more and cure that. And see if I can't build something here. And if I come up with like a weird swirly texture that's visible in it, I don't know, maybe I could make that work. You know, they're supposed to be insect eyes, so it's not entirely unreasonable. Throw a little bit more in there. And spread it all around the mold. This is probably going to take me a little while, but if this works, like, I'm down to do this again. Resin is not my favorite. I'm just going to say that right now. Um, I wish there were an easier way to do this. I mean, there obviously is by doing it the right way and using like alcohol dyes or whatever. But what's the fun in that? Doing things the right way? What? Who does that? That's just not me. I'm the chaos crafter. It's always the streams that I don't label as chaotic streams that end up being the most chaotic. Like, I did not plan for this to be a chaotic stream, but now, like, I have both of my hands coated in resin and red paint, and my table is a mess. There's resin everywhere, and I don't even have a single eyeball finished yet. Is this even curing? I don't even know. Hold on, let me cure. Oh, I don't want to cure the stuff in the container. Just trying to cure this stuff on here really quick so that I'm not poking at it with wetness. Okay. I think this is actually working. Oh my god, I think this is working. I figured it out. Yo! All right, let me put another little drip. Oh, what am I doing? I have my light on still. I am not paying attention. I just got so excited because it was working that I think I might have just ruined it. Okay, get another coat on here. Throw this on here. Let go. Oh my god, there's like a string. Let go. I don't know if there's like a fuzzy or something, but it's like, I don't want that in the middle of my eyeball that's actually finally working. Holy shit, I kind of can't believe this is working. I mean, I can because like the theory behind it seems sound in my mind, but like I just didn't expect it to actually work. Because usually when I do something really chaotic, it doesn't go well. All right. Put another layer in here. We've almost got a whole eyeball. Let's spread this up and out. This is also working really well to pull the bubbles out. I'm gonna cure this again because I think it's just a string of like half cured resin that I'm dragging behind everything, making a mess of my mold. I'm like genuinely shocked that this is working as well as it is. It's not squishy. It's not squishy. Oh my god. Oh. I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of this resin if I have more than enough for eyes because since it doesn't cure nicely, like, am I going to have to cure every layer inside this medicine cup? Oh no. What have I done? Well, Julie, you wanted a craft stream. You get the chaos. All right, that layer's still a little squishy. This is kind of working. I don't recommend to do this way, but wow. Okay. I might do one more thin layer. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do a layer that's just resin on the back here. Okay. Final layer on here. very bubbly, but this is all the way at the back, so I don't think any of this layer is going to be visible. I want it just like a little bit. Oh, I don't want to cure my whole container over there. I just want to get my little tappy tappy stick. Okay. Just trying to make sure it's almost level. Here we go. All right. Final layer. And then we get to find out if this chaos has gotten me anywhere or if I need to figure out how to get this off of my hands. It's just so gross. I feel slimy now. Like my fingers feel really slimy. I know, it's always the ones that I don't expect to be chaotic that end up being the most chaotic. Like, I was gonna do the chillest stream ever today. I almost was gonna do a whole stream, like another stream of like 20 minutes of just dressing my dolls because I couldn't prep the two that I wanted to work on. I'm like, I have nothing planned. And then I end up doing this, and now there's resin everywhere. And I'm popping giant pimples full of mushy resin. Alright, I feel like that has to be enough. I gotta take it out. I don't think that putting the light on it any longer is gonna do anything. I have to take this out and find out if I ended up with another giant pimple. Alright. Did it work? Do we have an eyeball? Are we solid? Oh my god, I don't understand. It's still... Okay, well, you know what? Maybe not. Okay, there are areas that are squishy and areas that came out okay. So I still don't know what to make of this, honestly. I think that this mixture over here is probably it's just not gonna work. I think I'm gonna have to start over. I'm not sure how I'm going to properly dispose of this. I'm gonna have to save that for another day to figure out. Yeah, this isn't getting any more solid. All right, so new plan. That's why I grabbed two of these. I'm going to make a new mix. I'm going to start with just resin and put in like 1 drop of paint at a time. I know I've seen resin artists use paint to color their resin, so I just don't understand why this isn't working for me. But I'm gonna figure this out. Oh yeah. Yeah, even when there's no chaos, there's external chaos from squirrels and critters. Oh no, I just got that straight onto my finger. Yeah, there's no squirrels today because it's raining. But my little buddy Wobbles was out there earlier. We have this squirrel that has some kind of neurological issue. He basically looks like he's drunk all the time. He doesn't walk right. He falls over if he tries to sit on his back legs to eat. So like he has to lean on things to be able to eat. I've nicknamed him Wobbles, and I always throw extra food out when I see him because the other squirrels are super mean to him. And I feel bad. I don't want the poor little guy to starve. I like Wobbles. Wobbles is nice. He was out there earlier because the other squirrels haven't been out today. So I guess he felt safe to come and get some food without getting bullied. Okay, I only put 2 drops of paint in this time. Like, that's gotta be a better paint to resin ratio. This has to work. I'm determined. I'm gonna get at least one pair of usable Mothman eyeballs. It's definitely the most chaotic stream I've done in a while, though. Oh my gosh. I hope it's not just this resin that isn't curing. Because I just realized, I think that whole first batch I made with this new resin. Although, no, because I did cure the little test area, and that one cured all the way through. Okay, so it's not the resin. That's right. Oh my god, it's so thick. This is the one of the reasons why I almost like the thinner resin better, because that just took so long just to get it out of the cup and into here. And that whole amount that was in here was one eye. Like that's just one. Let me see if I can tease out any bubbles that might be hiding on the bottom. Okay, I think we're good. Here we go again. Yeah, I saw him leave before I started my stream. Otherwise, I would have thrown extra food out, and I probably would have started my stream talking to a squirrel. But yeah, I like that little one. I don't like all the squirrels. Some of them are really nasty, but because my rabbit likes to sit at the patio door and eat her lunch with the squirrels every day, I can't get mad at the squirrels now. Those are my baby's friends. I have to be nice to them. And honestly, once we started feeding them like their own food, most of them left the bird feeder away, so they kind of stopped being a nuisance. Yeah, I have a couple of videos of wobbles. I'll have to post those online later. Okay, I think we might be okay with this one. It's not quite as red, it's almost more pink, but it may work. Ow, hot. Well, if it's hot, I think that means it cured all the way through, so that's a good sign. I hope. Um, well, I mean, it's still a little squishy, but I don't understand because this outer edge here is very solid. And hmm. Do I maybe just need to maybe I just need to fill most of the eye with clear and then just put a layer of the red on the back? Because it seems to be when it gets too low that it's having a problem curing. Although I swear this is getting more solid. I'm gonna make one more with this mix, and I'm gonna sit these last ones underneath another light. after I sculpt the head, because I feel like this is working, and it's just, for some reason, my light is not curing them all the way through. Oh my god! I love crows too. I've definitely never seen one pick a duckling up by the neck and kill it. That's brutal. I wish we had crows. I desperately want to have a crow friend, but we don't get crows. That's like one of the only kind of birds that we haven't had in our yard yet. Lately, we actually had to take the bird feeder down temporarily because lately we've had a problem with starlings just absolutely swarming the feeder, and they will empty an entire feeder in like 10 minutes. You know, the other birds, when they were out, that feeder would last like a whole day sometimes. And then the starlings come and it's gone in literally 10 minutes. Like, they're mean, they're nasty, they're greedy, and they show up in a flock of like 3 dozen at a time. It's awful. I mean, I know that the Hitchcock movie The Birds was about, ostensibly it was about crows, but it should have been about starlings. Like, I'm just gonna say that right now. Those are some mean, nasty birds. I do not like them. Like, there are very few animals that I will say outright that I don't like as a species, but I don't like starlings. I don't. I wish they weren't so pretty because they're nasty birds. They're mean, they're greedy, they're an invasive species. Tease out these bubbles. Ducks we don't get either, actually, now that I think about it. We're pretty close to a park, but there's lakes in the park, and there's not really any lakes or ponds near my house. At least not that run through my neighborhood. So I assume they probably just stay closer to the water. Oh no, there's another hungry squirrel out there looking for food. Well, little dude, I got resin all over my hands. I can't be touching your food right now. Oh no, no, I'm not forgetting the seagulls. Seagulls are they're in there appropriately. They are also pretty nasty. But like crows, if you're not mean to crows, they're not going to be mean to you. Like they don't care. Crows are smart, man. If you're nasty to them, then hell yeah, they'll attack you. But like starlings, man, oh, ugh. Starlings are just nasty to each other even. We also have the occasional seagull here, which is really weird. I'm not by any large lakes. Um, they used to hang out in the parking lot of Kmart, because right by our Kmart we had a McDonald's and a Burger King right in front of it. So, you know, the seagulls hang around wherever there's food. So, not only were there McDonald's and Burger King right in front of Kmart, but also the surrounding plazas each had at least one restaurant. And so there would just be like flocks of seagulls out there pretty much every day. It was really weird. All right. Now, see, this one's super squishy again. I don't understand why these are not consistent. Damn it. I just want one good pair of eyes. I know. Yeah. The thought of seagulls killing people is it seems absurd until you've actually been around large numbers of seagulls. And then you realize that yeah, these things are not friendly. Okay. Yeah. So the more I have this light on this eye, I think it's probably going to be okay. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sculpt the two that came out mostly solid right into the head. They're, you know what? They're close enough. I don't think that they're going to get stabbed by anything enough to pop them. And if they do, I don't know. I guess I'll just have to make new eyeballs for Mr. Mothman. Um, oh, one did come out kind of bigger than the other. That's okay. I'll just sit this one a little higher up in the clay. Alright, well the squirrel left, so I'm not going to bother washing my hands to put squirrel food out. I'm going to just move this out of the way. Actually, let me do this really quick so that it's not going to be getting stickiness everywhere. Ouch. I really need to buy disposable little cups for doing this. We just have like 5 million of these medicine cups in the cabinets. So I grabbed a couple of those because I figure we can spare 2 for my little experiment today. But I'm thinking if I'm going to be doing this even semi-regularly, I probably should just buy little disposable cups for it. Okay, that's cured, so I can put that over there and it won't make a mess. Okay. Actually, I think I probably should wash my hands because I don't know how having slimy resin is going to affect the clay. I'll take a little piece of this out first. Oh, I have to feed my bunny in a minute too. So let me take a little block of clay out first. Oh, there we go. I think, I'm trying to think how much I used for my alien. Not as much as I thought. Okay, so let me plan this out. I'm going to want to embed the eyes. I need to smooth all the little holes. And I want to make kind of like a ruffle of furry bits. Just like a furry little chest with the clay. I think that's all I want to do with the clay. So I'm not going to need a lot. I'm going to take out... maybe that much for now. And I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I'm going to go wash my hands, feed my bunny, and then come back and work on this. Oh my gosh, no, that's so mean. You put bread in her hoodie and the seagulls attacked. Oh no, that's cruel. I'll take a little bit more out actually. Just because if I don't use it, I can always put it back. Put that over there. Oh my gosh. you know, I feel like it's probably not that bad if I just throw away this other container that won't cure. I'm gonna stuff the paper towel in there. um, Alright, don't come for me, environmentalists. I just don't know what else to do. It's incapable of curing, so I can't cure it to throw it away. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try putting these eyes under the UV lamp. Oh, okay. Bye, Julie. I'm probably only gonna be on for another half hour or so anyway. Got a whole lot of sculpting to do for Mothman. So, oh boy, okay. Let me unroll this armature wire. Oh, first time chat. Hello. Is that Potty Pains? How's it going? All right, wire cutters. welcome to my chaos stream. I'm currently doing things very wrong and incorrectly, but somehow managing to turn out okay in the end, so it's pretty par for the course on my streams. Okay, oh, I need to put these eyes. I want to try and put them under here. Because, oh, interesting. So I took 5 years of French and haven't spoken French with anyone since high school. So I do actually recognize that pen is French. I am making a Mothman figurine from the Nerdy Crafter kit. It's actually my second figurine I've made from the kit. The first one I made was my little gumball machine alien. It's galaxy painted. And so the first half of my stream, I spent trying very hard to make resin eyes for my Mothman. And my resin kept turning out squishy. Like a giant pimple with liquid in the middle. So I'm hoping that if I stick it under here, it'll fix whatever curing issues I'm having. And they'll come out a little more solid. Because I want to attach them with the clay before I put him in the oven to bake. Oh, no, it was the right way around. There we go. So I'm going to cut the armature wire for his wings, and then I'm going to reattach the arm that broke off and fill in all of these little holes with my clay. And I'm going to sculpt him the little furry chest. Oh, you know what? I need to put little holes in his head for antenna too. Although that'll probably be easier. No, I do have to put it through the actual plaster. I can't just do it through the clay. Okay, so that's also going to have to be cut from the wire. Oh no, that's how his arm broke off. Whoopsies. Okay, so I want about, I think, better to make them too big than too small. Yeah. I think, because there won't be really weight on them, I think I can probably put it just through the clay and not make a hole in his head. If there was going to be weight on them, I'd be more worried about it, but they're just going to be antennas. Okay, now I'll get my wire out of the way. I have to squish this because it's pretty solid. I'm going to turn that back on for a little bit longer. Get all my little pieces up here. I need to get one of those pasta machines that I see all the polymer clay people using. This takes a lot of hand strength to get the clay soft and workable. Oh, it's going to dry my hands out too. Put a little bit of lotion on before I start doing this so it doesn't just suck all the moisture out of my hands. Oh my gosh. Well, that's okay. Thank you for joining me anyway. Um, I usually have music going to make it a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Immersive, I guess. But the playlist that I was using in the past is no longer available on YouTube, and I haven't found other royalty-free music that I like yet. So it is very quiet when I don't talk. um, but yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I might just start using like classical music or stuff that's, public domain. I think that would be easier. But I'm still pretty new to this. Um, I think I started maybe a year ago, and I didn't stream regularly when I started. It was like once a month for the first couple of months, I think. Um, I didn't start doing weekly streams until I want to say maybe like June or July of last year. Um, so I've only been doing this regularly for about 6 months. I'm still kind of learning a lot of things. My setup isn't great, admittedly. Like I'm just at my kitchen table and I have just a really cheap ring light and a $12 camera that if I bump my camera too hard, my camera breaks. So, oops, I'm still learning all of this. The art stuff is even the art stuff is a lot of it is fairly new to me. I started trying things that I have never done before I started streaming. When I first started streaming, I started sculpting again for the first time in probably like 10 or 11 years. Um, yeah, it looks okay. I just have to be really careful. If I bump the cord that my second camera is plugged in with, my camera will freeze and break and I have to restart it. So I need to get a new camera, but I don't I don't know. I'm totally lost on that kind of thing. Um, okay, we're almost there. Whew. Oh yeah. I know a lot of people do use their phones. I have a really cheap prepaid phone. So I wouldn't know how to do it on a phone. I've made TikTok videos on my phone and that's like the most advanced thing I've done. Almost there. Oh my gosh. It takes a few minutes to get this clay ready to go. This is very different than the paper clay that I started out using when I first started sculpting again. Um, Polymer clay is an entirely different animal, but it's good for my hands. I actually had hand surgery. I still have the scar pretty visible in the little fold on my hand there. I had hand surgery 2 years ago. Yeah, it was January of 2020. So I started sculpting because I had to do occupational therapy for my hands. Um, and was told that, using a stress ball would be good. And I was like, well, if I'm going to do that anyway, I might as well make something. So I started sculpting again after not touching clay for like 10 years because I thought I was terrible at sculpting. And I've made a few things that were um, a lot better than I thought I could have made. Um, So I've kind of gotten a little bit more confident since then that I think I'm not as terrible at sculpting as I thought I was. I just, I didn't have the confidence back then. So now that I started again, I'm trying all these different kinds of clays. Um, because like I was saying, I started with polymer, or not polymer clay, with paper clay when I first started sculpting. And you don't have to condition paper clay. It's pretty soft. So when I started with that, like you kind of just do whatever you're going to do. And then I got the Nerdy Crafter kit, and it came with this polymer clay, and the polymer clay you have to condition before you can use it. So you have to knead it really well because it comes out of the package super solid. Um, oh, I mean, I'm getting stronger. I had basically no hand strength after the surgery for several months. I had some complications, and it took a little longer than it was supposed to for me to be able to use my hand again, which is where the occupational therapy with the clay came in major handy because, oh geez, it's still sticking to me more than the figure. Um, because it helped me build that strength comprehensively without putting too much strain on the area I had surgery. So, yeah, I didn't initially start doing this to make anything. I was just doing it for my therapy, and then I kind of figured I'm doing these craft streams. I might as well sculpt on stream because, I was enjoying sculpting, even if I still thought I wasn't very good at it. Um, and I ended up making a lot of fun things, so I try to do it more regularly on my streams now. I paint on here more than anything else, and I make dolls. I make little art dolls. But since my goal for this year is to try and sculpt my own art doll completely from scratch by the end of the year, I'm trying to do more sculpting so that I can get better at, things like the facial anatomy that still kind of are areas I struggle with. Because I really would like to have an art doll sculpted completely from scratch by the end of 2022. Yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence in my work, which I know I should because, my friends who look at it all tell me that it's good. But it's that imposter syndrome, where you never know if you it's hard to convince yourself that um they're not just telling you that because they're your friends and they want to be nice. So, I'm trying to do more sculpting on stream because I feel like people who don't know me don't have any reason to lie to me. So if people who are total strangers come onto my stream and tell me that they like what I'm making, then I'm more inclined to believe them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're just saying it to be nice. I feel like every creative person has that same struggle, that internal struggle of, am I really actually good at this, or are people just too nice to tell me that I should stop? Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love my little alien. I based him on, I don't know, I don't know if they had them in France too, but in the US in like the early 2000s, they had those little teeny, they were like this big, like a couple inches high aliens that were in every like little cheapy gumball machine in every store. They'd have like the little plastic aliens, and when you went to like arcades and you could trade your tickets in for prizes, they would have like the little plastic aliens. Um, but I was absolutely obsessed with them. I had hundreds of the things. Every time I saw a machine that had them, I would buy one. Every time I went to an arcade, I would get them with my tickets. So I literally had hundreds. So when Jackie from Nerdy Crafter put out her kit with these little figurines, the first thing I saw when I looked at one was those little gumball aliens. So I was determined when I got mine that the first thing I made was going to be my interpretation of one of those little gumball aliens. And my favorite one that I owned was one that had different colored glitter inside of it, so it looked like a galaxy inside of the alien. So that's what I made mine to look like. Yeah. Yeah, see, those are good friends to have. I kind of feel like sometimes people are afraid to hurt your feelings, but like I would rather know if something I make like isn't up to par with the rest of my work, like just tell me. I won't be offended. That's totally okay. If I had spoken French at all in the last 10 years, I would probably try to speak in French, but I'm very rusty. I haven't had anyone to speak French to for a very long time. I miss it. French is a really beautiful language. I'm trying to learn Korean now too, so like my brain is extra foggy because I have too many languages that I'm trying to retain. Um, yeah, one of my best friends is Korean and keeps hinting that he and my other best friend, who he is married to, may at some point in the future move to Korea. And the first time he said that, I was like, oh, well, he probably won't. But he keeps saying it. So now I'm like, all right, they may really move to Korea. And at some point, I may want to visit them. And I would really like to get to know his family better. Because he's a first generation immigrant. So his parents are from Korea. Like, they speak Korean, they don't speak much English. And I would really like to get to know his family better because I've known him for like 10 years. He's one of my best friends. And I've never really had a conversation with his family members. So I've spent the last year or so trying to learn Korean. And so far, I mean, I know like the emergency phrases um, like the important stuff, but I still can't like converse. But I'm really trying to learn. But it's hard because now I have my language learning apps. And I do practice like the French and the Korean on there because I don't want to learn the French to make room for the Korean, but I want to know both, you know? And that's kind of one of those things that like I try to talk to people here about it, but I feel like a lot of Americans don't really understand that because they're like, well, who cares if you don't know three languages? Well, I care. I would like to remember all three. You know, not every American speaks more than one language, but I just like the idea of being able to converse with all of my friends. Yeah, that's about where I'm at right now is I can read it okay. Um but I still when people like if I try to watch a Korean show on Netflix without subtitles, it's too fast. I can't quite understand it in time before they've said something else. Um, so I'm not there yet. Uh, And you know, the part of the problem too is that like American school systems start teaching languages so late. Like you don't even have the option until usually like 8th grade, which is, 13, 14 years old. And languages tend to stick better if you learn them when you're really young. So trying to learn because I might not look it, but I'm 30 now. Trying to learn a new language as a 30-year-old has been very different than trying to learn a second language at 13. So things just aren't sticking quite as well as they did when I first started learning French. Like by a year of speaking French, I could speak at least, conversationally to another person. Whereas I'm a year into trying to learn Korean and I still can just say, like, the food tastes bad, the cat is fat. Like, I can't say anything useful. And it feels a little silly that I'm still trying so hard just to maintain these small phrases, but I mean, it's just it's a normal thing, I guess, with trying to learn languages later in life, that it's going to be harder. Oh, you're in Belgium. I always wanted to go to Belgium. Yeah, yeah. I've I had an exchange student friend in high school who was from Belgium. She spoke French, Flemish, and I think Dutch too. There is kind of an anti-academic culture in America, unfortunately. There's a lot of American people who are very happy to learn other languages and cultures, but there's a small, very vocal sector of Americans that just think that learning anything other than English is anti-American. And it's really sad because they're missing out on a lot of cultural experiences by being that way. And I've always just been somebody who just kind of I want to learn as much as I can about everything. I love learning. I'm a massive nerd. I love learning. That's kind of why I keep collecting so many creative hobbies, because I learn something really well and then I'm like, all right, I've gotten where I can get with this. I want to learn something new. Okay, is that steady here? Oh, okay. Flemish is a sort of Dutch. Okay, so that's probably what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I didn't unfortunately have any kind of social media at the time in high school, so I didn't keep in touch with her at all. But I wish I had, because I probably would have traveled to Belgium by now to visit her if we'd kept in touch. Yeah, I think it makes life more interesting if you're just always learning new things. All right, this little bit of wire here does not want to be secured. I'm struggling. Okay, I think we're good now. Once it bakes, I think it'll be sturdier. Yes, me too. The more things I can cram into my brain at one time, the better. All right. I'm going to try and put this arm back on now with my liquid Sculpey on both layers of the plaster. Yeah, I also have, I don't know if it's an ADHD symptom or if it's just like another weird thing that my brain does, but I get that like hyper focus when I'm learning something that I'm really interested in, where I will just go down massive rabbit holes and learn absolutely everything that I can find about the thing that I'm learning. So I'm basically like the best person to have on your trivia team because I know a little bit about everything, um, but I'm not really an expert on any of it. because usually as soon as that, oh no, as soon as that hyper focus passes, I get obsessed with something else instead. I just need this to stick long enough that I can put clay around the outside of it too. And it doesn't seem to, oh no, that's why, because another piece of plaster broke off. Oh. Let's try. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to stick during this bake. I may have to wait until I do the second bake. Just because I'm worried that it's going to knock the wire armature for the wings out of place if it keeps falling off. Let me try throwing just a little bit more clay in there. Yeah, I often forget to forget to feed myself. I forget to take breaks to drink water. Um, I used to just be able to not sleep for a really long time when I would be interested in learning something. But I'm getting old. Missing sleep is a much bigger deal at 30 than it was as a teenager. Okay. Oh, I should have fixed the little dip on the hand first. I'm definitely going to have to do at least 2 bakes with this guy. So I'm not sure if I want to put the eyes in now. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put the eyes in. Okay, so I gotta put clay on his face. Let's see. Do the eyes and the antennas. Oh no. Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks for joining me. Oh God, there goes his arm again. And my camera. I tried to catch the arm and knocked my camera over. All right. Yeah, I normally stream on Wednesdays in the afternoon here. So it's a little bit earlier than this usually. So hopefully you can catch more of them. Um, Thank you for joining me though. It was a very nice chatting with you. All right. I'm going to put the arm on later. It's just going to keep coming off until I get this head finished. I should have put the wires in after too. The wires are also getting in the way. Oh my gosh. This was going to be a short stream today, but I just keep going because nothing's working. Okay. Well, I think I have enough. Bye. Petit pen. I'm going to remember that next time so I do the French instead of the English accent pronunciation. Oh man. Okay. We'll smooth it out later. Stick the eyes in place. Okay. My Mothman eyes. All right. me stick these out more. Just see if I can give myself more room on these wings. Make sure that the eyes are properly centered. Alright, get some little eyelids. Oops. Keeps sticking to me and not to itself. Oh no. That's okay. Maybe I can smooth this around enough to connect anyway. Yeah, there we go. Oh gosh, I'm just gonna take these out for now. I should not have put those in first because they're getting in the way. Alright, I'm gonna smooth those with my smoothing tools later. Probably gonna end up doing a fair bit of this off camera. There we go. Just because this is getting to be a longer stream than I expected already. So I think what I'm going to focus on is just getting the first bake done. So I'm going to get the little antenna wires in there, get the wing wires in there, I'm going to get the arm reattached. And I think when I do that, it's going to be the end of the stream. So, got a little bit more to go. I wish these guys were just a little bit less front heavy because I'm worried that he's gonna smash his face falling over like this. Alright, start smoothing this to the back of the head because what I think I want to do is have the chest and the head and this wing piece all be one bit of clay. And then that way when he comes out of the oven, I can sand any excess clay and smooth him out and then just get to painting. And I'm gonna make his wings out of fabric, so only the antennas are going to be, actually maybe I'll cover the antennas in fabric too. I think that would look a little more cohesive. And now that I'm thinking about it, I could even make the chest bit of the furry bit also with fabric. I think that would be cool. So yeah, I'm gonna fill in these holes. I'm gonna get the wires in place, and then I'm gonna bake him after I smooth everything out. All right, plan is in place. My chaos stream is hopefully becoming a little bit more organized. Fill in these holes on his arm. I have trouble remembering to stay on the camera view. So, my bad. Okay. I think that's all of the little holes filled in. This little bit of plaster that came off of the socket keeps wanting to fall off. All right. So I'm going to fill in this big bubble here. Just about there. Just trying to get those edges real smooth. So I'm going to be painting in matte black, so I'm not super worried about being smooth, because the thing about painting things matte black, little imperfections tend to hide pretty well. So just kind of trying to get any big old holes or ridges filled in, and I think we're good. Looks nice and smooth. Other than obviously that little bit right there, but I'm going to get that with my tools when I get to the smoothing stage. I want to finish covering the back of this head. This is okay. Maybe I should have started from the back, because I'm afraid I'm going to squish the eyes out of place as I'm smoothing this. I think I'm probably just being a little bit paranoid though. So one of the things I've noticed about polymer clay is that it does smooth a lot nicer than paper clay. Even just like smoothing with your fingers. Because paper clay is pretty fibrous, so it has a tendency to get clumpy real easily. You pretty much just kind of have to do the best you can and then sand it when it dries. But polymer clay, you can get pretty smooth before you bake it. So I do like that. There are definitely things that I prefer about paper clay, but I like how smooth the polymer clay gets. Because I've tried a couple of different paper clays now, and none of them really get smooth unless you sand them after they've dried. But even this is actually cause clay, which is what was included in the second round of orders for Jackie's craft kit, because they ran out of the Sculpey. And the cause clay is kind of interesting because it stays somewhat flexible after it's been baked. So it feels almost rubbery, and that also has obviously its own pros and cons outside of regular polymer clay. Personally, I bought some plain old Sculpey. I'm looking forward to trying it out because the one downside to this clay staying sort of semi-soft after it cures is it's kind of a sponge for paint. I found that I needed more paint than usual to get the same level of coverage. And I noticed that same problem when I use spongier air dry clays, like air dry clays that dry soft as opposed to rock solid. So I'm assuming that's an issue with specifically the cause clay. I mean, obviously that's a guess. This is my only experience with polymer clay so far is with this cause clay, but just in my experience, it doesn't paint as easily as I would expect it to. But, you know, it could just be that that's polymer clay in general, in which case I'm going to add that to my list of cons of polymer clay versus paper clay. Because paper clay, again, it's fibrous, so it does have a tendency to want to absorb your paint, but if you gesso before you paint, like, there's no absorption. It works just like a canvas. Okay, I'm just trying to get this eyelid area as smooth as possible. And I am going to go over it with some alcohol to further smooth it before I put it in the oven. But I'm going to do that off camera because I'm going to take it to another area of my house where I can see what I'm doing a little better. So just kind of pushing this back so that it's smooth all the way around. Okay. See, that already looks a little bit better. It does obviously need to be smoothed more, but that'll be easier when I have the alcohol rather than just using my finger, which has a bunch of clay stuck to it already. But yeah, it does get, see, it's already a lot smoother just from doing that. So I do like that about the polymer clay. I still don't think it's really necessarily my clay of choice. I used Sculpey Air Dry for a project recently, and I really liked that. Kind of seemed to be a pretty good happy medium between paper clay and polymer clay. But I've also used creative paper clay and the Das clay that comes in the red and white package. As well as, what is the Crayola one called? Model Magic. The one that I call marshmallow clay because it dries super soft and squishy. That one is not my favorite except for very specific uses because I don't like the consistency of it. It doesn't sculpt as well. It does not hold any detail at all because it's so squishy. And it dries very soft. And the finished product is, I mean, it's a literal sponge for your paint. It just sucks it in. And you end up needing several coats to get full coverage. So it's pretty difficult to work with. That's probably one of my least favorite clays. Okay. Getting a little bit better there. I feel like the eyes at least look like they're evenly set now. They're stuck in there properly. Okay. Although, you know what? I feel like the little eyelid bit on this side is higher up on the eye. So I'm going to try and push that back just a little bit more. All the way around. I'm afraid to go too back because I know that this eye was actually shallower slightly than the other one. And I don't want to push so much of the eyelid back that it falls off. Yeah, see, that's as far back as I can push that. So let me smooth it and see if that looks better. And if not, I'm going to have to build up the eyelid on the other side. Alright, I think it's good enough. Try and smooth the transition area between the eyelid and the head on both sides. Alright. Alright, I think I'm going to get my alcohol and some cotton swabs and start smoothing because the head is looking good and mothy. Yeah, I think I'm going to smooth that out. Then I'm going to reattach the wings and stab the little pieces for the antennas in there. See if I can glue his arm on real quick and then pop him in the oven. lean them against there. Here we go. Oh, that's right. I used both of the medicine cups. That's okay. We'll just do this. And just kind of rub that over here to smooth everything out. Give them a little scalp massage. There's a little spot in there that's kind of needs to be smoothed out. Okay, getting there. Half of the head is nearly smoothed. Okay. There is just like a little groove here that I'm trying to smooth out. We're almost there. Try not to double dip my Q-tips in here. Oh, there. I think we're almost smooth. Almost got it. Just try and clean some of the clay off of the eyes. Keep them from getting dirty. Okay. I do really enjoy this smoothing stage. Because again, you can't really do this with paper clay. it's fibrous and it's lumpy and it just kind of makes a mess. So and obviously I'm not going to be able to get this perfect because again, I'm pretty new to sculpting. I don't have like perfect technique yet. Um I've only been doing sculpting for about a year. uh but I think I'm getting there, you know? I think I'm building skills. Just trying to get all of the little lumps out, all of the little lumpies and bumpies. Oh, why am I trying to wipe the little pieces off? That's what the alcohol's for. Okay. Getting closer. Oh, I dropped my Q-tip into the alcohol. Whoopsies. That's all right. This is the non-sterile alcohol. I don't care. All right. Having a little bit more trouble smoothing the back of the head out than the front. I think I probably just didn't smooth the clay as much before I moved to the alcohol as I did with the front. Um, but it's okay because a lot of this is going to be pretty well hidden by wings and antenna. So I think it'll be okay. I think part of this is just a matter of learning how much pressure you have to use to smooth effectively without dragging, because you don't want to just drag the clay to other places. You really do want to try and massage it until it gets smooth. If you just drag it, then you just move the lump somewhere else instead of getting rid of the lump. So I think I'll get better at it as I keep practicing. What I really just am trying to avoid is like any really large, clearly visible like dents, areas where the clay maybe didn't get filled in quite as well in one spot. Just try and blend this bottom piece by the neck here as well as possible. Although, you know, since I'm planning on doing the furry chest with faux fur, there is some wiggle room with getting that smoothed because I can hide it under the fur. Okay, nice and smooth, good and mothy. I think I'm going to start adding, oh no, I scratched it. Can't believe I just did that. There we go. Gonna start adding pieces. I'm gonna add the antennas. Then I'm gonna put the arm on. And you know what? I'm gonna put the arm on with some resin because then I can just cure it really quick and not have to worry about it sliding around. Because I tried to attach it with the clay and it doesn't want to cooperate. So I'm gonna try and get all of this clay off of here. See if I can do this with more of this yellowy resin that I'm not really a fan of. All right. Or did I put my light? Let's see if I have just enough space in there for the light to sneak in between the cracks and cure that in place. And then I can fill it with clay. I think that's working actually. That's pretty secure. Okay, so now I'm going to take the clay and just fill in these little bitty areas where the plaster shattered. And then I can put the antennas and the wings in, do one last smooth, and pop this dude in the oven. All right. That worked so much better than trying to hold it in place and sculpt clay into it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't think of that before. I think that I have effectively gotten rid of the whole need for a second bake entirely. So I can just put them in the oven once, get them baked, get them baked, and then be done with it. Okay. So that looks nice and smooth now around that arm. It's on there securely. It's not wobbling. I smoothed the clay all around where the resin didn't completely fill it in. So when I paint over it, it should be fine. Let me smooth out this clay on his back so I can put the wings back in and secure them. I think I'm actually going to do the antennas last. Because I think that they're going to be the easiest to do without damaging any of my other sculpting. Plus, now that I am getting ready to put them in the oven, I'm starting to worry that I don't know if I have enough room in between either of my oven shelves to put him with antennas on his head. So I may end up having to just put the holes into the clay with the wires and bake him and then glue the antennas in with resin afterwards. Because I don't know if he's going to fit in the oven with the wings and the antennas and everything else. I think it might just be too tall. Which is very fitting for Mothman, who's supposed to be like 7 feet tall, so, you know. Okay. Let's get his little wingy bits in. Where's the hole? On this side. There we go. On this side. There's that one. That one. I'm honestly not totally sure how well these are going to stay in here with just clay. I feel like I may have to resin them in place later anyway, but I'm gonna try and use just the clay. Oh my gosh. Some little critter just went running across my roof and startled the crap out of me. Oh no. Oh no, he's getting too top heavy. I may have to do the same thing I did with my alien where I add clay to the bottom of his feet to almost lean him back a little bit to counteract the top heaviness. Because he keeps wanting to lean forward and I don't want to ruin my sculpt. Oh, I can put, okay, there we go. I can put that under him. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to do because I can always sneak felt onto the bottom of his feet to lean him backwards later if need be. Um, right now I'm just concerned with getting all of the wires in place so I can get them in the oven before I have a chance to accidentally damage this nicely smooth clay. Okay, here we go. I need to bend this. To fit into the little hole. Don't squish the face. Okay. All right. I am actually going to put a little bit of resin in there just to hold them in place. I'm going to be covering them with fabric, so I don't care if it gets messy back here. I'm 100% sure this is not the proper way to be doing this, but I'm learning as I go, and that's my excuse. Whatever. Just cure this enough to hold them in place. Oh, but I don't want... Damn, it's already hardened. That's all right. Okay. Throw just one more little drop on this end. Okay. I'm just putting it... I'm not going to be able to hold this so that I can get it on the camera, so I'm just putting it in the little... I'll show afterwards. In between the two wires to hold them the proper distance apart so that I can put the clay over them without them wobbling around, if that makes sense. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it in a way that makes sense, and I can't. Okay, so see how I did that? I just put it just in between the two wires there so that they can't wobble around, because now what I'm going to do is cover the base of them with some clay so that they don't fall out. Okay, so now there is enough clay underneath and behind each set of wires so that when I put them in the oven, they should be held securely in place on all sides. And because I put the resin in between them, they should not collapse onto each other or get spread apart any further than they are right now. So now I can put the antennas in, and then little dude is ready for the oven. So let me just neaten up these areas that got a little bit messy when I was doing the smoothing. Okay. Oh, put the antenna, here we go. All right, so I put one here. Oh no, that's not lined up. That's okay. That's why I do this before I bake, because we can just fix that. I just needed it to be like not even 1/8 of an inch further back on the head. Okay. Smoothie, smoothie, smooth. All right. Try to make sure they're even both from the front and from the side angle. Okay, I think we're good. So let me set this little guy down. I need a clean piece of wood here because I'm gonna put that in the oven with him. Ooh, I just snagged the wing wire. I think it's okay though. All right. Slip that under your feet. Okay. All right. There he is, a little Mothman. So I'm gonna go preheat my oven, get my hands cleaned up so I can handle a baking tray without getting clay everywhere, and put him in the oven. That's that's it for today. It took a really long time, and I feel like I didn't really do that much, but I mean, I learned some stuff. Mainly, I learned that you can't really use paint to color resin if you don't know what you're doing because you end up with squishy blisters of resin that don't cure properly. Uh, yeah. There's still a few these little holes. There we go. All right, I'm gonna do one last smooth with the alcohol over the whole body, I think. Except where I'm gonna be covering with fur because I don't care about that. um, There's one little hole like under the hand that I can't quite get to. There we go. One right there. Just the little bubbles from the plaster that I'm trying to fill in. All right, let me do one final smooth here. But again, it really doesn't even have to be perfect because I'm going to be painting the body matte black, and when you put matte black paint over pretty much anything, it sort of has a natural smoothing effect because it doesn't reflect a lot of light, so you don't get the shadows and the highlights like you would over an uneven surface. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of picking up any large lumps and bumps that may be hanging out. I kind of feel like the head could still be a little smoother, but I'm not going to mess with it because I know I spent probably an hour getting my alien's head as smooth as it is, and I don't really want to invest that when I'm going to be putting a lot more details onto this little dude um, that are going to hide any defects anyway. So it just feels like kind of a waste of time. So I'm just going to, you know, just clean up these areas, smooth them out real good, get rid of any fingerprints that may be hanging around. Because, while I was talking before about pros and cons of polymer clay that I've discovered, one of them is the inevitable fingerprints that you tend to find on things when you're just learning it. Um, I think that you do get better about spotting them as you're smoothing and not letting them make it to the oven stage as you go, just based on other artists that I've watched over time working with polymer clay and how their projects have improved. So I'm not really concerned about it because this is only my second polymer clay project. My first was the little alien. Um, so, if there's a couple of fingerprints and things that I miss, then that's okay. I know I'm completely off my main camera right now. I can't, it's dark enough in here that I can't see unless I'm like inches away from this dude's ass. So, uh, like I'm sorry, Mothman. I gotta be up your butt right now. I can't see otherwise. I'm old and blind. I'll put him back on camera in a second here when I get more of this clay smoothed out. Actually, you know what? While we're talking about being up his butt, I got some clay left. Um, we're going on 7 o'clock, so I'm not gonna be super detailed here, but I'm gonna give him a little butt. I think it would be cute if he had a little butt. So I'm gonna give him a little butt really quick. Give him a couple of little booty cheeks. Because if anybody is familiar with the actual Mothman sculpture, Mothman sculpture has quite an ass on him. So I kind of feel like my little Mothman needs a little bit of a booty. So let me try and get this a little bit more round. Mothman, your butt is sagging a bit right now. I feel like this also may counteract some of the weight on the front of him from sculpting onto his face and eyeballs. So let's just go with that's why I'm doing it, and not just because I think it would be really cute if I gave him a little butt. It's definitely to counteract the top heaviness and keep him from falling forward. That's what it is. Little booty. One of these cheeks is thicker than the other, y'all. We gotta fix that. I can't let Mothman have an uneven booty. He's got a little butt. Oh, I love it. All right, let's get this little butt smooth. Oh, I forgot to put the liquid Sculpey on. I hope this stays on him. I hope his butt doesn't fall off in the oven. That's a brand new sentence that's never been said before. This is so ridiculous. This might be the silliest thing I've ever done. You got a little butt. Okay. All right, Mothman. Doing your statue proud. All right. This is definitely the silliest thing I've ever done before. All right, guys. That's going to be it for me. I'm going to get this little dude in the oven. Uh, with his little booty. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's perfect. All right. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the chaos that was this stream. Um, if you missed the chaotic first half and you would like to see the chaos, or, you know, if you came in late and, you know, you're just tuning in now as I'm cleaning up and you want to see more, or you want to watch any of my other streams, I put my streams onto YouTube after I finish them. So I'm going to start the upload tonight. It will be on YouTube by tomorrow afternoon. My YouTube channel is also under Spooky Doll Lady. So if you would like to follow me over there as well, you could do that. I do occasionally do videos that are just for YouTube and not on my stream. Um, right now I'm doing a playthrough of the horror game Visage, which is scaring the ever-living shit out of me. um, and yeah, I do those in like hour-long segments on my YouTube channel. So if you want to watch those, you can go find them over there. Um, as of right now, all of my previous streams have been uploaded to YouTube. They unfortunately may not all be in order. I don't know if there's a way to sort by the date they were recorded and not the date they were uploaded, because I do have that info entered on each video as to when they were recorded. You don't really have to watch them in order though. I pretty much do a different project every week, so it's not really like there's anything to follow. Um, but, well, I mean, I guess there is stuff to follow because, like my other figure I did on my streams. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. Yeah, you can go follow me over there on YouTube, but also Spooky Doll Lady. I am on TikTok and Instagram as Alter Ego Chris. That's CHRISS. Um, that's it. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you guys next week. Well, I may do a game stream this weekend, so we'll see how I'm feeling. I'm still recovering from COVID. I don't know if I have 2 streams a week in me yet, but I don't know. I will definitely be back next week for another craft stream at the very least. So, all right. Thank you for watching me. See you later. Bye.